Greetings, I'm Bill Kladky, and I'd like to welcome you to today's edition of Neighborhood Beat. Our show today looks at insurance in Maryland. What do you need to know to protect yourself? What do you need to know to help understand what is going on as insurance and as life keeps changing? Our guest today is Ms. Joy Hatchette, who is Deputy Commissioner of the Maryland Insurance Administration. And Joy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you for coming today. First of all, could you tell us a little bit, please, about the Maryland Insurance Administration?
The Maryland Insurance Administration is a state agency, and we're the state agency that's responsible for helping consumers with any insurance issues and insurance problems they may have. And it's all types of insurance. It's your automobile insurance, your homeowner's insurance, your life and your health insurance. I sort of, when I'm talking to the public, sort of like to refer to us as the Better Business Bureau for insurance. So if you have a problem, we're the place that you can come to, and we can help you with that insurance problem.
Great, thank you. And what is your experience and background?
Well, I am an attorney by training, and I've been with the Maryland Insurance Administration now for 18 years in various capacities. Currently, I am in charge of the Consumer Education and Advocacy Unit for the Insurance Administration. And that unit is really responsible for helping people understand their policies and understand what their rights and their obligations are under their particular insurance policy.
And you've 18 years, so you've been on all sides of things.
Yes, I have. I mean, currently, as I said, I'm involved in the consumer education, but prior to that, I was in charge of the units that were responsible for consumer complaints. And then prior to that, I was actually the attorney, one of the attorneys for the Insurance Administration. So I've seen a lot of things since I've been there.
Yes, indeed, I bet you have. You have. Let's first talk about homeowners insurance, and then later we're going to talk also about health insurance and disaster insurance. Homeowners insurance, what is it?
First of all, consumers need to understand if you own a home, it is very important that you have a coverage to protect you in the event of any type of peril or any type of thing that might happen to that home, be that a fire, a theft, or anything that might happen to impact that home. Because let's think about it. Your home, for most people, is your most important investment. So you want to make sure that you have coverage to protect both the structure and the things that are inside that home. And if you have a mortgage on the home, your mortgage company is going to require that you have a policy to protect you against the fire, or if there happens to be a windstorm or any of those things. So that's what homeowners insurance is all about, basically protecting your property, the home itself, in the event of any type of damage that might happen to that particular home.
I think one of the things, at least I'm a homeowner, and because the cost of that insurance is included in the mortgage and I don't pay it directly, I realized that I was getting a little lazy in looking at the coverage.
And one of the things that I try to tell people, if you're just buying a home or if you've been a homeowner for a long period of time, you're the one that's in control. You have the right to choose your homeowner's insurance company and the coverages that you need. And every year you should basically evaluate your coverages and make certain that you have the coverage that's appropriate for you. And we at the Insurance Administration try to help you do that. We have one brochure that's a comprehensive brochure that tries to explain to you what the coverages are and what you need, and what a lot of the complicated terms mean. People in the insurance industry use terms that are familiar to them but aren't necessarily familiar to the individual homeowner.
That's
and
for
so
certain.
what I really try to tell people is take a look at one of our brochures, and that'll explain things to you in a way that's easy for you to understand. And then the other great thing that we have is a rate comparison guide. So what we do is we go through all of the rates for the large companies and we compare. And that way we've done all of the legwork for you. So you can pull up our rate guide and see what the different major insurance companies might charge. So you can make sure that you're getting something that you can afford, but also something that protects your interests.
How can someone look at this rate guide in that brochure?
Well, there are a couple of ways. First of all, you can go to our website, which is www.mdinsurance.state.md.us, or you can give us a call on our toll-free number, 1-800-492-6116, and ask for a copy of this publication. And they're great publications, and I really recommend that homeowners take a look at them. And we always get information from the insurance company when it comes time to renew our policies. And like most people, we throw that information aside because we're very busy. But I really suggest that you take a look at what they're saying you have as a coverage and compare that to what our brochure sort of tells you about the coverages, and then sit down with your agent and talk about it and see and make sure that you have the things that are right for you as a homeowner.
Yeah, and I guess if you have any questions, call him or her up.
Exactly. Talk to your agent. Talk to someone at the company. And if you feel as if you're not getting a satisfactory answer, that's what we're for. Come to us. Use that 1-800 number. Call us. We've got a group of trained professionals that are there to help you.
And they help for free.
Absolutely. And that's the key here, is that a lot of people, instead of being confused, they can talk to an unbiased state agency that's there to help them.
Yeah, yeah. And therefore avoid having somebody try to simply sell you more insurance or, frankly, sell you the thing that they're pushing that month.
Exactly. And also, just because an insurance policy is right for your neighbor doesn't mean that it's going to be the right policy for you. Insurance is very individualized, and so you need to find the right fit for you. And the best way you can do that is looking at your personal circumstances.
Yeah, and I guess, as you said, but understanding what the terms are in that policy.
Exactly, because there are things, what I tell people, it's important to know what's covered, but it's more important to know what's excluded. And one of the things that, I know we're going to talk about this a little bit at the end, is disasters, but one of the things that I tell all homeowners, understand flooding is not covered by homeowners insurance. So if you happen to live in an area that has a propensity for flooding, if there's a possibility that your home may be flooded, you need to buy a separate flood insurance policy, because if the damage that water can cause to your property is extremely large. And if you don't have the appropriate coverage, you as a homeowner could lose lots. And so one of the things we try to really encourage people is to understand your own particular risks.
And for flood insurance, folks can go to the federal government.
Right. Well, and you can, first of all, the flood insurance program is a federal program, but a lot of the insurance companies sell that flood insurance program. So if you're basically insured with your homeowner's policy with one of the major insurers, you should ask them, do you also sell flood insurance? And if they do, they can also sell you the flood insurance policy. And there's lots of information that we have on flood insurance, but also there's a website, floodsmart.gov, that's there to help educate you on the importance of flood insurance.
So www.floodsmart.gov.
Exactly.
And I guess really you'd advise people to buy flood insurance who lives anywhere near the bay and anywhere near any major river.
Well, but more, not just there. What I tell people is the last time you had a heavy rain, did your property flood? Did your basement flood? Because water can travel downhill, especially with a lot of the development that we've had, that you don't necessarily just have to live by the river to be in an area that has a propensity for flooding. So really look, this is once again going back to look at your own particular risk and determine, based on where I live, is flood insurance something that I should purchase?
Absolutely. Good tip. Good tip. Let's talk about some other tips. Some other tips. You've mentioned that for evaluating whether or not a price is fair, you should really go on your website and take a look at your comparison guide. What other tips would you give the consumer?
Well, these are the things, I mean, basically insurance companies are allowed to look at a lot of factors when they're determining what the price that they should charge you. And one of the factors they look at is your particular claims history, the claims history of the things that are around you, how close you are to a fire hydrant, and what type of security measures you might take. So what I tell people is, if you don't currently have an alarm system, install an alarm system, because that will probably give you a discount. Having your auto insurance and your homeowner's insurance with the same company will generally give you a discount. The amount of your deductible, the higher your deductible, the lower your insurance premium. But what's key here to remember is make sure you choose a deductible that you can afford to pay. A lot of people years ago would choose a very low deductible, a $250 deductible, and therefore their insurance premium was higher. Well, now with the economy, you're seeing people that are increasing that deductible to $1,000 or $2,000. But be careful with that, because what I say is, if you, God forbid, were to go home today and there had to been a fire on your property, could you pay that deductible if it was $2,000?
Yeah, right
and
off
if
the top.
the answer is no, then that deductible is too high for you.
Yeah,
so
point.
you really need to think about those things, because all of those things will save you money, but in the end, it may end up costing you money. And another tip that I try to encourage people to do is help yourself before an event happens. Go through your home and make a personal property inventory of what actually you have in your home. So if there is a loss, be it a fire or a theft, you're not trying to remember what you had. And we have a natural disaster brochure. And in the back of that natural disaster brochure, we actually have a personal property inventory that goes room by room and helps you make a list of what you own. And then if you have a claim, you'll have that document that you can turn into your insurance company. But here's the key. Once you make that inventory, don't leave it in your house. Because if your house burns down, there goes your inventory. And I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm going to put it in a lockbox. Well, if you have a lockbox and you have a theft, what do you think the thief is going to take? The lockbox. So it really makes sense to actually store that list either in a safe deposit box in a bank or with a family friend. That way you can get quick access to that information. A lot of people like to do pictures or, in this day and age, video. And those things are great. Make sure if you're choosing to do video, you don't just take video of the big stuff, the televisions. Make sure you go into the garage and get the tools,